can just do it as Lewis McLeod would do it, live from London. It's Plank of the Week with the host and originator, Mike Graham. How's that?
Yeah, love it.
Brilliant.
That was great. Marvellous stuff.
As
Much
me,
better live. Much better
impersonation
live,
of myself. Listen, well, we've got lots of clips to play. We've got a really, really good list of planks here, actually, as well. So we might as well get stuck in, shall we?
Yeah,
let me find it, first of all.
You can never run out of planks, Mike, can you?
You really can't. I mean,
No.
the beginning of every week, I sort of start. I always leave. When Starmer was Prime Minister, he always left him in because he knew he'd be doing something stupid.
Yeah.
And I now do the same with Andy Burnham. So he's literally always in there, even if nothing's happened, because you know that something will happen. But there's been so much of it. And I was saying earlier, by the way, that you now notice that Andy Burnham's smile has sort of disappeared. You know, that happy-go-lucky kind of
jobs wearing down
from the north, and I can do everything. And he doesn't look happy anymore.
No, that's true.
That's all gone. He's not going to be smiling
The
again.
honeymoon is over.
The honeymoon is officially over. Yeah, exactly right. So I have got down for you, Mark, Gary Stevenson.
Yes.
Who is must be a guy that you must love to lampoon. This guy.
Yeah, I've even debated against him. So,
Have you?
Yeah. So for those who aren't in the know, Gary Stevenson was apparently an extremely successful trader. He's definitely made a lot of money. Some of his former workmates suggest he might have somewhat overstated how good he was at trading, but he's nevertheless made a right pile. And then he was involved in setting up this group called Patriotic Millionaires, who go around bemoaning the fact that they've got too much money and they'd like to be taxed a bit more, right? This is the thing they want most in their life is more tax, right? Yeah. They are so unimaginative that they can't think of what to spend their money on. And so I've debated against Gary Stevenson a lot, and it's pretty evident that he doesn't understand the tax system.
Right.
Now, in fairness, the tax system is goddamn complicated. The UK has the longest tax rule book in the world. It is 14 times the length of War and Peace and even more boring. So I can't claim that I'm completely across it. But in broad terms, I understand which bits are taxed and at how much and why rates might differ. Stevenson doesn't get that. So he just assumes everything should be taxed the same. You know.
Yeah.
Well, I pay 40% of my income. Why aren't I paying 40% on my house?
Yeah.
Why aren't I paying 40% on my new car? Why
It's a
aren't I
fairly
paying 40% on a
simplistic way of looking at economics,
unbelievable.
isn't it?
So anyway,
he is special.
For reasons best known to Channel 4 and Gary Stevenson, he makes a series with Channel 4 in which he goes around talking to proper economists, putting forward his theory. And he basically gets eaten alive by each and every one of them who call him out for not understanding the tax system.
Yeah.
And he has now reached the conclusion after this humiliation on Channel 4 that he is suffering from burnout, and therefore is taking a break from YouTube.
Yeah.
So that's good news for the rest of us.
It is good news for the rest of us.
But it's very planky behaviour from
It is very
Stevenson.
planky behaviour, because I actually went to look at some, because I've never I mean, he kind of appeared out of nowhere to me, this guy, relatively recently. I'm sure he's been around for a long time, but he sort of only came across to my attention relatively recently. And we got a clip actually of him announcing that he's quitting. I think this is from Newsnight the other night.
Well, I am quitting, I am quitting.
Quitting public conversation?
Yeah, I am, Because I'm tired, Paddy. I've been doing this for years, you know. I'm tired of betting on people's living standards collapsing and trying to tell people every year and getting called a liar by liars and getting called an idiot by idiots. It's tiring, Paddy. You know, I don't need to do this, right? I do this because I don't want this country to go down the toilet. I see what's happening. When I come on here, I want people to understand this will get much worse. This living standard collapse will get much worse. And I'm not just saying that. I've been betting on it for 15 years. I've made millions of pounds doing it. You cannot allow a situation where the British, and it's not just happening here, it's happening across the Western world, where the working class and the middle class and the government all very rapidly lose all of their wealth to 1%.
So there you go, Mike. Let's hope that's the last we see of him.
Yeah, that would be great, wouldn't it?
What is it with the left, by the way? I work on panels across media about the left, and they always dress down. It's like the anti-establishment sartorial expectation is that you look as if you've just split up with your girlfriend, and you're at home, and
you've been sleeping in Leicester Square all night.
Yes, this guy's a million. I mean, he is the most successful trader ever. He dresses like he's never done a trade in his life.
Right. It's not exactly the Wolf of Wall Street, is it?
No, it's not.
You know, and that's the thing. I mean, people say, or I read a piece about him in which it said that taking economic advice from a trader is a bit like taking advice on farming from somebody down the fruit and veg market.
Yeah.
You know, because they're in a completely different area of the product, if you like.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know?
Just because you understand how to make money as a trader or in any business
Yeah.
doesn't necessarily mean that you've got any knowledge of how the tax system
Right.
works, other than how it's directly applied to you
Yeah.
and what you've done. But the idea that you've got a wider purview or overview of the whole UK tax system,
Right.
you don't. So, yes, it was, you know, in Stevenson's case, I'm afraid, ignorance was no barrier at all to voicing
No,
your opinion.
indeed. Well, I've got another clip here, which is we'll cut it short, but it says this is a clip of him being owned, which apparently is worth playing.
Yes.
You got that one? Number 2?
Yeah, I've got it. It's there.
How many billionaires are in the UK?
There's a lot of billionaires in the UK.
It's 150.
Yeah, so tax them all. What do they pay?
Yeah.
Listen, I worked my tits off and I paid, it was 50% top rate of tax. 50% top rate of tax, plus national insurance, 60%.
So $1 million a year.
To bring my family out of poverty. At the same time, the Duke of Westminster inherited £10 billion and paid nothing. Do you think that's fair?
That's not true.
Okay, why is it not true?
Because the Duke of Westminster is one of the highest taxpayers in the country.
What does he pay?
Well, on the trust, the Grosvenor estate, they don't pay inheritance tax because trusts can't die. They pay something called periodic taxes,
Which is how much?
6% every
How
10
often?
years.
6%, so they pay 0.6%
Just one
a year.
sec,
So I paid
just hold
60%
up.
and this guy pays 0.6%.
Apples with apples, inheritance tax is 40% across the course of your life. If a trust is, if a person lives who owns a trust for 70 years, then 6% times 7 would be 42. So they actually pay more.
So
in
he pays
inheritance tax.
0.6% a year.
Pro
You're
rata.
telling me 0.6%
But that
a
would be
year.
the same as...
What percent did I pay per year?
No, but that's...
60%.
Hold up.
So you're saying I pay, what's 60 over 0.6?
No.
100
You're not
times the tax rate
You're not
is what I
comparing
pay.
apples with apples.
Wait, why is it not apples with apples? This
Because-
guy pays 0.6% a year. I
That-
paid
no.
60% a year.
That's inheritance
I
tax.
paid that 60%
You're
every
talking
year, Daniel.
income
Every
tax.
year I paid
You're
it.
paying income tax.
So why have I
The
paid?
Duke of
why
Westminster
do I
pays
pay
income
more
tax.
than him?
The Duke of Westminster pays income tax. He probably makes your bill blush.
Yeah, you think he pays income tax?
Yeah, well, if he's going to live, he has to withdraw money to have his income. He also, let me give you a list of
Okay.
all the taxes he would pay. He'd pay income tax, corporate tax. He'd pay stamp duty when he buys a building. He pays any of the other taxes, VAT when he spends money. All the same taxes apply to a duke as they apply to anybody else.
So you think he
There's-
pays income tax
there's-
on the income on that?
Any income he draws.
Okay,
would-
well our
would
viewers
pay
can
tax.
research whether he pays income tax on his income.
I find it very hard to believe that he made any money at all doing anything.
Yeah.
He just comes across as an idiot,
Yeah.
doesn't he?
He's either very clever and doing his best to manipulate and deceive his disciples, or he's very stupid
Yeah.
and achieving exactly the same thing. Either way, all he's ever doing is preaching to the already converted, those who don't understand the tax system and are on the left of politics,
Yeah.
and believe that anybody who has any success shouldn't retain any of the fruits of that labour. And I just find it astonishing that somebody like that can be so successful. It doesn't highlight him as somebody who is somewhat less genuine than he could be. It really, to me, highlights the how quickly and easily a certain proportion of the population can be deceived, because all they're doing is listening to that, thinking, "Yeah, that sounds about
Yeah,
right."
right.
Yeah.
And his whole argument there was, "It doesn't sound quite right to me, so how can it be right?"
Yeah.
And it's like, well, that's not how life works,
No,
mate.
no,
But
exactly
it was
right.
this complete, as was pointed out there, he was not comparing apples with apples,
Yeah.
right? So saying, well, I'm paying 60% income tax, he's only paying 0.6% on his estate. Yeah, but could you imagine if the tax on your wealth was 60%? I mean,
Right.
the state's got all of it within 18 months,
Yeah.
right? I mean,
Year on year, it's
absolutely, it's gone within 18 months, the whole enchilada.
It's called North Korea, isn't it?
Yeah, it
you're not
is.
allowed to own anything.
Yeah.
That is exactly what communism is, isn't it? It's the state owning absolutely everything. And we're seeing that. I don't know, this is the point I'm trying to make. It's like we don't learn from history. It's like we believe that the bad things that happened in the past happened because they were clever people deceiving everybody, and now it's just by accident. So Starmer and Burnham and this sort of loose connection they've got to communism is by accident, and they're a bit stupid, they don't know what they're doing. But in actual fact, there's a lot of sort of skullduggery going on in the background that means that we are...
This video is sponsored by Tally Money. I'm delighted to be joined in the studio by CEO and founder Cameron Parry. Cameron, very good morning to you. Nice to see you. Tell us what Tally Money is.
Well, at Tally Money, you get a savings account powered by gold. So we give you a sort code and account number in your name, just like a normal bank account, but instead of sitting in pounds, you now have milligrams of gold that we brand as Tally.
Okay. And how does it actually work sort of day to day? Do you check the gold price every day? Do you need to do that? How does that?
We use the spot price, what's called the spot price in gold, and that updates every minute. It's a live price. We don't charge any premiums or FX margins on anything on that. You just go about your day as though it was any other mainstream foreign currency, except that you see all your transactions in real time and you're not getting charged international transaction fees and things like this.
Okay, so if I move some of my money into Tally because I've just opened an account, what happens to it? And is it one of those things that I'll just be watching all day to go, ooh, look what's happening today?
You might do, but you've probably got better things to do with your time, to be honest, Mike. I don't actually think about the little movements in price because I know over time that on average it goes up more than 12% per annum, and it has each year for the last 10 years. Bank savings products or current accounts just can't compete with that at all. But the main thing is my money's sitting there. It's my direct ownership of an asset. When I use my Italia card, in London to buy a cup of coffee, the merchant still gets pounds.
Yeah, okay. To find out more about Tally Money and for a special offer for viewers of the Mike Graham Show, simply scan the QR code or click the link in the description right here.
Really being attacked by these people.
Yeah, absolutely right. And unfortunately, they're convincing an awful lot of other people behind them who think they're talking the truth, when in fact...
It kind of sounds attractive at first blush, doesn't it? Yeah, the first sentence, wouldn't it be great if we get more from billionaires and wipe out poverty?
But it's also that whole view of the world from a sort of, sixth form's bedroom, but where you go, oh yeah, well that bloke's got a lot of money, he shouldn't have all that money. What does he need more than £1 million for? We'll take the rest. And you go, well, that's not really how it works either.
No, and if you did just give the average bum £1 million, then it would be gone very quickly.
Yeah.
The National Lottery is testament to that. That some of the biggest stories from the National Lottery are not the success. It's that Mr. Wally was given £6 million.
That guy who was
by the end of year 2 was worse off than he was before.
That guy who was the Rangers fan, he was always wearing a Rangers shirt, and he lost like 25 million or something, in the space of about 2 years.
There's a reason people generate and retain wealth.
Yeah. Absolutely right.
So Stevenson really planky.
So Stevenson, very good start.
He may be, oftentimes people who make a lot of money are really good at one thing.
Yeah.
So I guess maybe he was a really good trader. I don't necessarily, I'm not trying to deny that. Often if you're really good at one thing, you're pretty goddamn useless at everything else.
Yeah,
and he is pretty goddamn useless at understanding the tax system.
That would be true. Speaking of stupid and useless, what about Zack Polanski? That's your first nomination.
Zack, well, all you got to do
is he good at anything?
All you got to do on Plank of the Week is go, Zack Polanski, am I right?
Yeah, exactly.
and then we move on and everyone agrees and I win. But yeah, this week Zack Polanski obviously inadvertently, shall we say charitably, shared this image of what can only be described as the archetypal lefty idiot.
Yes.
I mean, if I said Mike, draw one, you would draw that guy who was wearing a T-shirt that said, "We're only making plans for Nigel," which is an XTC lyric from 1979, and it was a picture of a guillotine.
Yeah.
Okay, so the idea was our plans for Nigel are to execute him. And Zack Polanski, a.k.a. David Polden, shared this and... he collaborated in it. I don't use Instagram in the same way as the youngsters do, but apparently you can be invited to collaborate, and then you've got to agree to do it.
This is one of the things I don't get about the modern world, because collaborator used to be a bad word, didn't it?
Yes,
you were in league with the Germans or something, in Paris
Mike,
in 1939.
When I saw that Polanski was nominated, I put my head in my hands, because this story broke. I was on Jacob Rees-Mogg's show at the time. And Jacob Rees-Mogg had to absolutely lecture me on all of this Gen Z stuff about what collaboration means. Right? If I need to take lessons from the former Member of Parliament for the 17th century on how this stuff works. So you're right, Mike, collaborate when they read out the Green statement. I was like, well, that sounds like you're up to no good whatsoever.
Yeah.
But it actually means, I think, on Instagram that you agree to kind of hand over the keys to your account. And then a whole bunch of you will release the same thing at once. That's what it means. I mean, he was an idiot to hand over the keys to his account. Doesn't sound a great
thing to be doing if you're the leader of a political party, does it?
Absolutely,
because you can't check what they're putting out.
So
exactly right.
I like to start right at the end here, which is that I don't want people arrested, questioned by the police, or jailed for things that they say online within a huge scope of reason.
Yeah.
And this, by the way, I wouldn't have wanted any real police action if I'm honest. However, against the backdrop of Lucy Connolly, against the backdrop of Anne Widdecombe's murder, Charlie Kirk's murder, and the fact that the left seem more and more complicit in this type of militia almost against the right, then questions need to be asked. And of course, the Met Police have said there's no case to answer. He didn't know that what he was sharing, and if you're going to have a prosecution, you've got to prosecute all 170 people that shared it, for instance. Then it becomes incredibly difficult. But it wasn't difficult when they arrested Lucy Connolly and they put her in prison. It's not arrested when a father gets marched away from his house because he said something discouraging about a headmistress on a WhatsApp group and is taken away for 6 hours for questioning. But it's a good Gestapo. And so what we want is apples to be compared with apples.
Yes.
And we're not getting that. So from that perspective, one of the reasons I wanted something to come of this is so that the left could finally see that their methods can work against them.
Yes, exactly.
And therefore just go, that's enough, we shouldn't be doing this.
Yeah.
Zack Polanski then refused to apologise. Again, I wanted him to apologise, but I don't really, because in that situation, I wouldn't apologise either. I'd also be saying, this is utterly ridiculous. But they set the rules, so why don't they have to abide by them?
Exactly right. Well, we've got a little clip, I think, of him saying he's not going to apologise. So let's have a look at that.
I don't have a clip of it.
So that was on Newsnight.
I've got it as
the
number
Victoria
7.
Derbyshire.
Let's do it. Let's act it out.
Have you got the Plank Clips file?
Yeah, let me...
It's the one at the end.
Is it? Okay.
But
But this thing about it, he goes on about it was a mistake, and that's the grounds for which he wouldn't apologise. I mean, I can remember a couple of years ago, the other half phones me up and says, Mark, you flooded the entire flat because you left the bath running and walked out. I said, sorry.
Right.
I didn't say, well, I'm not going to apologise. It was a mistake.
It was a mistake. That is sort of obscure logic.
For mistakes,
very obscure logic. All right, I'll tell you
I
what.
have it, Mike.
Have you got it?
Yeah.
All right.
2 seconds. There we go. And we will play it now.
Do you want to take this opportunity to apologise to Nigel Farage?
Well, if I'd done it deliberately, I'd be apologising. But because this was a mistake, I think the important thing is that I point out it's a mistake, that I also make sure that I condemn political violence. And also, crucially, I make a commitment to be better on my social media.
OK. Do you want to apologise then or not?
No. The reason for that is because Nigel Farage, when I posted this, or when the person posted it, it got less than 1,000 likes. Nigel Farage then took it, cropped it, so it made it look like I posted it, which I think was fundamentally dishonest. It's now had 3.2 million views. So actually, this whole conversation has been seen more because Nigel Farage, the Yusuf, and I think Richard Tice posted it. So I'm accepting my responsibility in that I shouldn't have accepted that collaboration. I'm accepting that we all need to condemn political violence. But I also think the reporting to the police, the ramping up of the language to say this is incitement to murder me, feels like that's also putting me in a dangerous spot.
Okay. I mean, so now you only apologise for something you did deliberately.
Yeah.
And you only apologise for something if it's got a big audience.
Yeah.
If it's got a small audience, you don't have to apologise.
Yeah. Murder you
Those
apologise
are the rules.
for, but manslaughter's fine.
No,
Yeah,
okay.
yeah.
Yeah, you've run somebody over accidentally, you get out, their whole family's
It's a
distraught.
mistake.
What have you done to me, mum? And you go, I'd love to
mistake.
apologise,
Yeah,
mate,
it's
didn't
not-
mean it.
didn't
Anyway,
mean
I've
to
got to
do
go.
it. Anyway, I've got to go. I've got to be on Newsnight again. I'm going to go for 2 at the same time, really, because Andy Burnham, obviously, because he's lost his lustre already, and also nothing's working. They've now said we can't do the 3% of GDP for the defence. We're not going to build 1.5 million houses. We can't do that. And basically, what we're going to have to do maybe is tax you some more.
Yeah.
But I tell you what, you will do is we'll open up number 10 North, and if you can just reach over there, you can hold up the sign because we decided to have some of our own. This is the Mike Graham Show North, and over here is the Mike Graham Show South. As you can see, the only difference is that my new office doesn't cost £1 million to the taxpayer, and I don't have to travel between it very much. But you know, it's like, what the hell are they thinking?
Yeah.
Heron House is now apparently where they're going to stay. At first, they said they were going to build some new place for it. But I was saying on the show today, I don't know where Andy Burnham is today. Is he in the north? Is he in the south? When is he going to go there? How often is he going to be there? Is he going to do press conferences? I mean, nobody really knows what it's all about. It's just this kind of performative madness, isn't it?
If you're presented with the troubles that the UK currently has, and you think that the solution to that is to generate another hub of power because you want to please a certain amount of people up north, then you haven't got a grasp of A, what the problem is, and B, how to fix it. We haven't heard him talk about how he's going to solve any of the major issues facing the UK. And I put something like this online recently, and a bunch of lefties said to me, he's only been in power a week. You're thinking, well, actually, not really. He's been in power one way or the other since about 2012.
Well, actually, since about 1997, when he joined the Tony Blair
he was a
government.
very early part of that Blairism, wasn't he?
Yeah.
So
he was a minister in Blair's government.
Yeah.
You know, the idea that for the last 40 years politics hasn't worked for Britain, well, he's been part of it.
Yeah, big chunk of it.
For all of it.
Absolutely incredible. And we're just going to have to go through it. There's no other way. We've got democracy still, which I'm starting to believe is a bit of a shame. And I want one charismatic leader and everybody just to follow what they say.
But here's another really irritating thing about Burnham. If you notice this, when he was talking about, we've got to do something about social care, he was sort of saying, it's all going to be very expensive, but I'm going to give it a go. And he said, and I hope we can proceed with public consent. And then he's also suggested, I hate it when politicians use this term, we might have to ask you for some more tax.
Yeah.
Well, if you ask me, the answer will be no. Right. I've got a feeling you're not going to be asking me. I've got a feeling you're going to be telling me, and the money will come straight out of my account, or I'll go to prison if I don't pay it.
I get those letters from HMRC, you know, none of them seem particularly friendly.
No,
none
of the emails.
None of them have asked me to pay anything at all. It's normally just like, here's a bill, would you pay it by the end of the month, please? It's not even please, actually.
I'm always terrified by the HMRC emails, text, letters. You're absolutely right. And you know full well that if you don't comply, then you are in some serious trouble.
Yeah, totally. Unless you're Angela Rayner, of course, in which case you get
fine.
about 14 months to figure it out. And at the end of it, as she will tell you without being asked, they exonerated her. And she told her she hadn't done anything wrong, apparently.
No.
So do you think on this number 10 North thing, is it going to fizzle out? Or is he going to actually do this for the next 2 years?
I think it will have to fizzle out because it will become impossible.
Yeah,
because you can't, you know, I mean, why would anyone in their right mind take a very difficult job, which is hard enough as it is, and split it into two so that you've got, I mean, I liken it to when I was working in newspapers, I had a secretary who took, when I got the job as editor, she had gone off to have a baby. And when she came back, she wanted to work part-time. So it was like a 50-50 job share. So I had two secretaries instead of one. Right. And it was chaos. Because nobody ever knew what the other one had done. And I would always go, well, do you remember when I said this to you last week? I know I wasn't in that day. And I'd go, well, didn't she talk to you about it? Well, I can't remember. And it was just madness. And so you'll have all of that every single time anybody does anything in Manchester. There'll be some bloke in London going, what did you do that? How did that happen?
Well, it's like a split personality thing, isn't it? Because can South and North disagree? Is South and North
this is it.
personified by somebody different than the Prime Minister?
Like the War of the Roses all over again.
It's absolutely... Right? Andy Burnham could literally be in a situation where he said, I'm sorry, but the North don't agree. Andy, you run them both. We're talking about you.
I know.
Andrew Neil made the really good point, a really good point. There is a reason why countries have capital cities, right? There is a very good reason why countries, all countries agree they need a capital city, because you want a single hub of governmental
and also
operations.
where the leader operates his office from,
and
where most of
operates
the staff are, and you know that's the way it works. Why would you completely throw that up in the air and break it in half?
Madness.
Incredibly mad. Right, the next one for you is Phil Jones.
Not
a person I'd heard of.
Right.
In fact,
yes.
until
No, I
this
actually
week.
have come across him, and it was one of those things when when you see people in a different context, it doesn't percolate. But I have seen him because once or twice a year I go on Jeremy Vine's Radio 2 show, and he has been the producer of that.
Okay.
But I don't know if we've got the clip here.
We have, I think, got the clip.
You've just got to see this. It is jaw-dropping.
Yeah, let's have a look.
This is amazing.
I have a very different view on this.
Go on.
Definition of madness, continuously trying to do something, doing the same thing and failing. You're not going to stop them. I've said this before years ago on your show. Go down to the beach, welcome these people. They are the very definition of entrepreneurs. They have travelled, they've used up their life savings, they've travelled across deserts, difficult seas, they've beaten the odds. They are entrepreneurs. Meet them on the beach, give them a grant to set up in business. They will be successful business people within 10 years. I have a few caveats. No benefit. You break the law, you're out. No ifs and buts.
And no
but
criminals.
We can all think of immigrants. Immigrants built this country. Immigrants work harder than most people who live in this country. Let's welcome them.
What about that? Just stop trying to prevent them coming here.
And welcome them.
Welcome them.
I just think it is so unbelievably wrong-headed. I
Why?
mean, we...
I mean,
Emma Trimble's face.
Has he been talking to Gary? He's been talking to Gary Stevenson.
Where do you begin? And I'll tell you what's really irritating about it is it's another one of these. You must do this. They must do that. If he really believes this, he should turn up at Dover Beach with a sign saying, come and get your entrepreneur loan from me of £1,000 and dish it out to him. He thinks there'll be a good rate of return on it. He should do it. How many loans has he given? How many start-up grants has he given?
Well, he should really do, actually. He's getting himself on the first plane to QUITS, or whatever it's called, down in the north coast of Morocco. North coast of Morocco, where 40,000 men have just basically breached the border, all of whom want to start their own business. Obviously, they're clamouring to get a shop down the High Street,
that can swim.
I'm desperate to lend them all money. I mean, the rate of return over a year or two will be fantastic.
Where does this logic stop and start? Do you just go and find your local drug dealer and say, you've been getting away with this for so long, you're an incredible entrepreneur, let me invest in you? The whole point is there's a crime being committed and we probably shouldn't reward that crime.
Yes, I think that's probably a fairly sound place to start.
It's a reasonable starting point, Paul. I've got to agree.
I mean, that is true. I mean, I've also been able to roll into this, the Times newspaper, which you might see is lying on the floor.
Destroyed.
I tore it up this morning because they decided that the story in Spain, in northern Spain, or northern Morocco rather, it's so insignificant that there were 31 pages of the paper before you actually got to it. Nobody was publicising it because, of course, it's the and the Sun's version of the story was actually they described it as mostly young men coming over. We didn't see anybody else, unfortunately, because it's quite an extraordinary story. But this is this kind of endemic lefty view, isn't it, of the world that technically speaking there might be one or two bad apples, but actually, of the 1,000 people who've just arrived on 4 boats, they're all pretty decent men. Well, they're really not, are they?
No, but it's worse than that, Mike. They're not even saying they're decent men. They're saying that these are the Elon Musks of the future. Right? It's not just that they might be all right people. It's no, these people are the Mark Zuckerbergs, the Bill Gateses of the future.
And they built Britain as well, apparently.
And they built Britain. Yeah, we've got to remember Britain was entirely built by immigrants. Apparently, it's crazy. And I think we've got to. It's got to be called out by if you're saying that asylum seekers are welcome, then we want to know how many spare rooms you've got in your house and how many of those you're going to make available to asylum seekers, because we've got a list of people we'd like to put there. If you genuinely think, as Phil Jones does, that these people are a bunch of entrepreneurs, I want to know how much seed capital he has put in to funding their start-up businesses, and I bet the answer's naught.
And this guy is a producer at the BBC.
Correct,
Which leads me to believe that maybe the BBC... Maybe that's the reason the BBC are failing.
I think he's considered to be slightly on the right of the BBC.
He's been warned twice.
Also, how bad are things getting at the BBC where they can't get any guests on the show? They have to go and get the producer. Can you just sit in because the other guy's not made it on the track?
No, I think he's going to be in trouble at the BBC. They're going to call him out for being in favour of entrepreneurialism. That doesn't go down at all.
Shocking.
Dangerous pro-capitalist ideas.
Shocking. Paul, you've got the Essex Police.
Yeah, and it's strictly not the Essex Police, but Alison Pearson, the great Alison Pearson this week, had a victory. And it's a huge victory, actually, because on Remembrance Sunday, the 11th of November 2024, I think it was, she had a knock at the door to say that she'd committed a non-crime hate crime. And when asked what it was, they couldn't tell her. When asked who had complained, they couldn't tell her. And it was already a victim by that point. It wasn't an accuser. It wasn't a victim. The long and short of it is the police commissioner for Essex, who is a democratically appointed Conservative police commissioner, and I don't know which counties do have and don't have police commissioners, but I'm rapidly becoming not in favour of police commissioners. He actually went out of his way on LBC to say that she was liable for 7 years imprisonment.
Right.
And he'd also taken this and put it onto his own website, which is quite prominent apparently. And it's been deemed by the courts now that was liable, and he's had to put an apology out, and he's had to pay a 5-figure sum to Alison. It's totally unclear if that comes out the public purse or out his own bank account. But there's a couple of things I want to focus in on there. This is a democratically elected police commissioner who is conservative. I think it should be a crime that a conservative would go about their business in this way. The whole point of being conservative was we conserve the things that keep us a democratic state, which is not this. This guy has basically said Allison's words, which were never proven or otherwise, affected somebody's rights in some way, and this constituted a hate crime. Totally abhorrent behaviour in a Western democratic society. I'm glad that she's got this. Next come the Essex Police. She should never have had a knock on the door. Right. She should never have had to answer any questions. And this is absolutely insane.
It is, but not as insane as Dawn French.
No, she is
I'm
insane.
about to nominate, because I'm just going to have you watch this, right? This is her defending Mrs. Andy Burnham.
So, a woman, a human, normal woman, standing there, and all you can talk about is her dress and her body. How dare you body shame her? This is a bright woman who speaks lots of languages, she's run businesses, she's faced challenges you wouldn't even begin to imagine. You wouldn't have the courage for it. Stop it, bullying people. It's a human woman with a human body. Let's be grateful. There are some humans there.
I can't imagine why Lenny Henry left her, can you?
No, I mean, you can see that she's obviously had a great career in comedy, can't you, from a basic personality there? Oh my God.
When you can act and produce the amount of characters she has, why does her own character have to be that mental?
Yeah, I
That's
know.
why she could do anything there, and she could actually convey what is a reasonable point about people just pointing out the body of the Prime Minister. But she does it in a way that suggests that she's actually legitimately gone mad.
Yeah, I think so.
She has, clearly.
It's really, it's even worse than the thing she did about Palestine, isn't it? And Israel, which more or less lost
But
her the
doesn't
job
that
of
tell us
Marks
more
and
about the
Spencer's.
audience? Again, I look at this and think, well, people do this and they think, they think they're going to get away with it, because they do get away with it, because their audience want that from her.
Yeah.
This is normal to them.
Yeah.
A mental breakdown, straight into camera, is what they
So you're
for.
saying you need to show total outrage. You couldn't just sort of say, the correct human response say, maybe this is a bit off.
Yeah,
But she has to scream and shout
yeah,
about it, right? And show how
and be
absolutely
deranged.
traumatised
I know,
she is. Yeah.
I know, insanity. We're getting close to the end of the show, so I'm going to rush through the last couple. Matthew Talbot, you both must have come across him in your travels in various different ways, shapes or forms. He was a former advisor to Christian Wakeford, Bury South MP, general kind of holier-than-thou lefty. I don't know particularly well. And he's apparently been done for expenses fraud.
That's right.
Because he claimed for some parliamentary expenses that were illegally obtained, apparently. Claimed rail tickets that were not for parliamentary purposes. And he was at Thames Magistrates Court. He was also admitted making a false claim for travel and accommodation expenses in 2024. I suppose he might say, I made a mistake. So I'm not sorry.
So I made a mistake. I'm not going to apologise. It was a mistake.
But he's a bit sanctimonious. Is the only reason I nominate him as a plank.
But I think the other thing that's quite planky here, Mike, is what an idiotic thing to do.
I know.
I mean, I don't
know how much money's involved, but it won't be much, will it?
A few grand.
Few grand.
So I don't want to kind of condone any crime, but I could at least understand it if somebody committed a crime because it might make them 10 million or something, right? You just aren't going to take the chance to get away with it. But to torch your entire career on the basis of a few £1,000s worth of fake travel expenses, what are you thinking? The risk-reward ratio is nuts.
I know.
That's planky as well.
And
as
I'm not going
the
to play it, but Dan Wootton made some other allegations about him as well, would suggest that there's maybe more to the story than meets the eye, but we don't know about that. And then finally, for me, Sky News. I was watching Sky News on Sunday night, and I mean, apart from the fact that they would be planks anyway, just because they are complete and utter planks, because they're such lefty wallies. They were reporting from Berlin after that horrible terrorist attack by the Arab guy, the Lebanese guy, who was actually born in Germany, but his parents were from Lebanon, who drove into a crowd of people, killed one of them and injured several others, life-changing injuries and all of that. And they were trying so hard not to mention the fact that it was possibly a terrorist attack by an Islamic terrorist. They even had a guy who came on who was one of the local kind of councillors. He started blaming Donald Trump, right? And started saying things, and they didn't question, didn't challenge it. You know, it's the hate, it's all of the terrible things that come from the right wing. I think at one point, people were blaming, I think there was one Labour MP who blamed
Nigel Farage
and GB News for the fact that this guy decided to run over some people in Germany. And you're kind of going, how deranged do you have to be? But the Sky News people just ran it all. And they had this girl reporting from there who was at a loss as to why they could explain that this festival of love had resulted in this attack by someone who obviously was anti-gay. And you're kind of going, well, that's not really the story, is it?
Yeah, exactly right. So I think I reckon you can put Sky News pretty much on rinse and repeat, like Andy Burnham might for each and every week. Basically, you can just cut and paste that onto every week. They're bound to say something like
I know
this.
we need to be quick, but there is a very serious side to this, and that's that there is a terrorism being committed, a crime of the worst kind being committed on an almost weekly/monthly basis. And if you cannot identify the perpetrator, which is absolutely obvious, then you will never solve the crime. So these people are perpetuating the crime, which means they're, partly responsible.
Yeah, exactly right. I'm just about to name the plank of the week, Pooch, but I haven't got the plank because it's over there. Do you think I can get it? Would you mind? Sorry. I think it's going to have to be Gary Stevenson, isn't it?
Right. Good choice.
After all of the nonsense that here we are. After all of the nonsense that we've had to put up with listening to this guy, to finally say that he's had enough because a couple of people have been critical of him. I mean, it's pathetic, isn't it, really?
I think he's a worthy winner, Mike. Also, bear in mind, if he really has exited stage left, then this might be his last chance to have won it. So,
well, that's the other thing.
So that's the other thing.
I mean, that's the other thing. People like number 10 North, Burnham, they're going to be in there for a long time.
They'll be back every week,
so thank you very much indeed, Paul Cox, Mark Littlewood. And now you're going into the other studio.
We are.
So this is just the warm-up for your show.
Now comes 2 hours of chaos.
Yeah, so do you know what you're doing or not really?
I haven't got a clue.
Excellent.
I mean, we'll make it up as we go along.
I'm keeping it all together.
Are you driving the train?
I mean, it'll look like Mark is presenting, but ultimately I'm under the surface, really keeping
absolutely.
We hope you'll have a functioning studio and company to come to on Monday, Mike, but I can't guarantee it.
I'm sure. Well, listen, it's been an amazing week for us, so thank you very much indeed. So, Gary Stevenson, plank of the week, well done, mate. Maybe you can take 50% of it and give it away to somebody else. Because,
Mark and Paul leave now.
Yeah, can you leave? Yeah, get out.
Can you leave?
Just get out. I'll finish up here and give you 5 minutes to get in there. And thank you very much indeed to everybody for listening. Thanks to Bishop Kai Dewar. Thanks, of course, to Linda Jubilee, Ralph Schulhammer, Johnny Gould as well, Sunil Sharma, Will Geddes, who was here earlier and brought some lovely cakes with him. We will see you.
Pooch is Pooch.
Pooch is Pooch,
we've got time for one.
Have we got time? Let's do
one of all
it.
time.
This one is very cute. Yeah, this is really cute. Check this out. Oh my God! It's literally like a toy dog almost, isn't it?
His back feet.
Yeah.
Look.
See how he just stares?
Oh.
Watch.
Amazing.
Now you're gonna cry. See?
So sweet.
I know. No.
Wow. What an amazing picture that is of that beautiful dog. You just have to go and get another one when you see that, don't you? Thanks to Pooch, thanks to Charlotte, thanks to Scarlett as well that was here all day. Thank you to all of you for having such great taste as to watch this show all week, and thank you for all the super chats today as well, which was quite an extraordinary thing. We will be around all weekend, of course. I'm going to do a live Ask Mike on Sunday, if I manage to get from Manchester down to Sussex in time to do it. And there'll
Ziggy be involved?
Ziggy will be involved, yeah. I don't know what the weather's going to be like, but we'll probably be in the garden, I dare say. So if you fancy asking me a question, we'll be trying to do it live on Sunday afternoon, right here on my Substack. So if you haven't joined that yet, go ahead and do it, which is always good fun. And we will see you on Monday at 7 o'clock. Plank will go out again tonight. Of course, you can catch that at 7. Loads more to do, loads more to talk about. And we will be thinking of you, and we'll see you on Monday.
Stay tuned.
Stay tuned, of course, for Paul Cox and Mark Littlewood coming next, right here on UK Live Online. Beautiful.